What's up, my peeps? Soaring through the skies, Donald Drips here, and I'm back with you with another video. This video is what if Deku had a sound quirk? And as you can probably see from the thumbnail, yeah, the ship is gonna be Jiro. There's no taking back on that. Never. Because if you're doing sound or music quirk, it's obviously gonna be Jiro. Uh, well, you guys could choose you guys could choose something, could choose a what if which I can do. So I really don't care. You can choose whatever ship you want. Okay. So just to inform you, right here, UA is gonna be a college. A college. A university? Which one's better? UA University or UA College? I'm gonna go with UA University. It's gonna be UAU. Okay. So yeah. So Izuku's quirk, sound quirk. So yeah. Where do I want to start this off? Let's think. Okay, I got everything. We start this off with Izuku being 4 years old. His mom and him going to the quirk doctor. There's no dad there. He wanted to go and get some milk, but he had to take the long way to get home. Still hasn't come back. So yeah. When you go to the quirk doctor, they're there. They do all the necessary things to check the quirks. I don't really know what they do, so don't ask me at all. So then, yeah. What happens next is the doctor comes back, tells them that your son your son has a sound-based quirk. We couldn't come up with a name for it, so we've decided for him to come up with this quirk's name. I don't know what to name the quirk. You can name it. I really don't give a fuck. Yes, your son's quirk is allows him to freely manipulate the matter in the air that creates sound. By doing this, he's able to travel at the speed of sound, can condense sound waves, can make sound wave hit something. He can do basically anything you could think of with sound. Mommy? Then Deku comes here. Mom, do you think I can be a hero with this quirk? Yes, honey, you can. So yeah, we end that part there. Next thing is when he goes to school. Izuku school life. He's really distant. He doesn't like to talk to people a lot. So Bakugo likes to take advantage of this a lot. So one day he would always try to bully Deku, but Deku just shrug it off and not pay attention to Bakugo. But this time Bakugo took it way too far. He said that, I know why you always run away. You're just like your dad, running away from you. It's probably because you are a loser. You're a loser, Deku. At that moment, Deku stops walking away. He turns around. He looks at Bakugo. He snaps his finger, and then a bubble goes around Baku's head. And then loud sound is bursting through his ears, and he's screaming out in pain, but no one can hear him. They can only see that he's in agony as Izuku walks up to him and says, as Izuku walks up to him and says, "Don't ever, and I mean ever, talk about my family. You understand me?" I said, "Do you understand me?" Yes, 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 just stop. Uh... Deku snaps his fingers, and the bubble. Deku snaps his fingers, and the bubble stops. Then Izuku just glares at Bakugo, and leaves. So yeah, from that point on, Bakugo never tried to mess with Deku because he knew if he tried to, he was going to go through a lot of pain. So yeah, Deku, over the years from elementary to middle school, would just be training his quirk, trying to figure out all the limits that he could reach with his quirk, seeing how long he could dance the sound waves in the air, how fast he could travel with the speed of sound, if he could shape the sound, if he could manipulate sound from everywhere. Could he manipulate the sound in people's bodies? Could he manipulate the sound in the ground? Could he manipulate the sound to do many things? When I was talking, I just came up with the most sickest idea of all time. Never mind about that right now. So yeah, he's thinking about all these things. He's thinking about all these things. He's thinking about all these things, wondering if he could possibly do so many things with his sound quirk that people have not even imagined people with his type of quirk doing. He still can't do most of the things, but he's found ways to do it little by little. Okay, with that out of the way, let's start middle school. As I said before, UA here is a university. The dorms will be already made. So yeah, people can go to the dorms, but most people just stay with their family. You'll understand when we get there. What I mean, most people. Get that out of your mind. Stop being a dirty pervert. Huh, people. Gonna start being like Manetta here. Well, back to the story. So it so it's been a year since middle school started. People know not to mess with Midoriya, else you can have a big problem up your hand here. So they really don't mess with him at all. Then the second year comes. Many girls have tried to ask him out since you gotta admit this picture of Deku looks smoking. No homo. So yeah, in the second year of middle school, they get a transfer student. Rumors have been going around that it might be a girl, but it's not official. And then, yeah, the transfer student comes. The teacher says, "You can come in now." Then she comes in and says, "Hello, my name is uh, Kyoka Jiro," or something like that. How's it spelled? How do you pronounce it? Ah, who cares? You all know who it is, right? It be this girl. Okay. She says, "My name is Kyoka Jiro. Jiro Kyoka." Ah, who cares? I'm just thinking how you pronounce. Which is it? Name first, then surname, or is it surname then name? Oh, who cares right now? She explains that. She says her quirk is earphone jack and all that. So yeah, she says her quirk is earphone jack. So yeah, she says her quirk is earphone jack. It allows her to hear the vibrations of sound in objects and being able to, I don't know. You all know what her quirk does. I don't really know what her quirk does. Just watch the anime. Don't really pay attention to what to when they explain the quirks. So yeah. So then while she's doing her introduction, Izuku is just there sitting in the back of the class by the by the seat at the corner next to the window with the window open, the wind blowing in, going through his hair, looking like the classic anime protagonist with headphones on with headphones on, because he realized that with headphones on his he's he's able to manipulate sound way more better. He thinks it's probably because influence the sound which he listens to influences the way he's connecting the way he's connecting to the sound in the matter, which the sound in the air, the earth, people's bodies, in the matter, in anything you could think of. So yeah, so he always has phones with him. So then the teacher says that she must sit next to Izuku Midoriya. Izuku takes off his headphones, says yes. Raise up your hand so that the new student can know where her seating is. Izuku just puts back his headphones. He raises up his hand. She goes to the seat next to him. And yeah. So then Jiro starts to try and start a conversation with him. He says, "So, what music you listening to? I don't know what music you people like, so just imagine your most favorite song, and that's it." He says, da, 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 da. She says, "I like the song too." He started talking about songs, and then he says that he introduces himself. He says, where are my manners? You already introduced yourself, and I need to introduce myself. My name is Izuku Midoriya. My quirk is I don't really know the name. You people should give me a name. Soundwave, sonic screech, sound motion, sound manipulation, sound shot, sound shock, sound. Yeah, lots of names. Who knows, really? So then, yeah. Then he says that his quirk allows him to freely manipulate the the sound in molecules and objects as well, being able to manipulate it, control it, shape it, and do various other things with it. She says, "Wow, pretty awesome quirk." Almost like with twins, both have to do with sound, right? She she she, she holds a fist bump to him. He fist bumps and she says, "Right." So yeah. So Izuku never really had friends in middle school since he thought they were all pretty much boring. He didn't really have any friends with your girls because the girls only wanted him because of his looks. And the boys were just jealous of him, wanted to be friends so that they can get closer to the girls. So yeah, if you're still wondering, yes, Bakugo was still in his class. Just as he messed with him, he messed with everyone else, but he's not Deku. So yeah. So as time goes on, the two hang out, they play together. Later on, he finds out that can play. Jiro can play instruments. He also tells us that he can play. Then they start to write songs together, play together, hang out together, do all sorts of things. And by that point, Izuku started to develop feelings for Jiro. But what he didn't know is that she also started developing feelings for him. So then that went out throughout the whole rest of the second year. Then when it came to third year, it became interesting because Izuku said is because one time Izuku was training and Jiro was just writing lyrics to a song. Then Izuku said, "Hey, why don't you train your quirk with me? Hmm? Hey, why don't you train your quirk with me?" Sure. What's what's with the question all of a sudden? What's with the question all of a sudden? Well, you did say you want to be a hero and a musician too, right? Yes. And I also want to be a hero and a musician too, right? Yes. Where are you going with this? Well, if we practice music, write lyrics together, and all that stuff together, and we've gotten better so far, and we've improved in our skills, then wouldn't that mean if we practice our quirks together, would improve that too? You make a logical fact there. Just let me finish this song, and then we will, and then, and then we will do, we'll do this, do the training. So from that point, they started training together. While training, Izuku would try to find the best spots so that they could train together, secluded areas where they wouldn't get caught using their quirks, places where it would mostly help with quirks and all that stuff, with their quirks and all that stuff. Izuku really didn't need any special place since he's able to freely manipulate the matter. Sonic matter. I found out. Yeah, okay. I found a cool name for his quirk, Sonic Matter. Yeah. Okay, you don't have to type a name down. Sonic Matter. Cool. So yeah. So then yeah. But then he would say that she would need to learn use how to use her earphone jacks. So then they would go to buildings, all the stuff, crowded areas for her to try and locate certain things. Later on, Izuku would come up with an idea for how to help her even more. He would blindfold her and say that she relies on her eyes and plugging in her earphone jacks into the wall to find her opponents. Why not use her earphone jacks as a beacon so that she can use some type of echolocation to spot the enemy. That way it would be a much more easier job and much more effective than sticking your earphone jacks into the wall all the time. So they've been doing that. And also while doing that, they've been doing combat training. I'm not going to tell you what what Izuku can do now. You'll find out later. Later, if I actually do a second part to this and not make and not become lazy like I usually am. Yeah, I was gonna post this yesterday. I wanted to make this yesterday, but couldn't. So yeah, probably might not be yesterday for you, but it's yesterday for me. Right now is Monday. So yeah. So so Jiro suggested that since they want to improve in both singing and being heroes, why don't they go to dance classes and gymnastics classes? That way they could better improve their skills for dancing and doing gymnastics stunts on stage, as well as it helping their reflexes, flexibility, agility, and speed when it came to busy doing hero work. Izuku said that was a great idea, and they did that. Round about almost to the end of the year, Izuku couldn't help it anymore, and he gathered up all the courage, saved up money by doing some jobs here and there to take her out on a date, and he went to ask her out. She said yes. They went on a date, changed, went to see, they walked around the mall, shopping, buying, talking, chatting. They ate, talking about how things were at home and all that stuff. How she told him about how her parents reacted when she said that she had a date. Her father was crying and wanted to said that he wanted to murder the person who took his daughter away from him. His mother just congratulated her. Izuku said, yeah, I don't want to meet your dad. Don't. But you'll have to meet him sooner or later. I hate it when you're right, but I'm always right. Or are we? Or are you now? Yes, I'm always right. Okay. How about that time when we were going to the beach? What did you say? Said it was. It's a very secluded beach where not many people go. But what happened when we went to the beach? We found out why few people go there. Okay. I might not always be right. I might not sometimes be right, but I'm mostly right all the time. Yeah, whatever. They will continue with their shopping, go see a movie, then take a stroll in the park, sit down. Izuku would start to play the guitar. She would start to sing and doing all that. And then they would be they would just take they brought a picnic blanket with them. So then they would sit under a tree, picnic blanket, lay down. Izuku is just listening to music while Jiro is lying on his chest while has her head on his chest while lying on the floor reading a book while also listening to music. They too are getting comments about how much of a couple they look like and all that stuff. They didn't really bother with it. So yeah, let's see. Okay. They didn't really bother with what people said and left it alone. And then the third year finally ended. And yeah, they officially began dating over the holidays. They would usually use it to rest, write songs for the festive seasons, holidays, all the special days, all that stuff. They would also be training more digitally since they didn't have to go to school and wouldn't have to worry about what if they were tired when they went to school, what if got hurt and had to go to school and all that stuff. So yeah, they could train more intensely and all that. Then came the the first year of high school. High school. I'm not going to talk about high school. Not my high school. Never. It was so fun. It, I thought it was going to be so fun. But in reality, I was just an idiot. So yeah, never enjoy high school. So yeah, first day of high school, they're walking together. Izuku, Izuku just listening to music while Jiro is holding it, while their hands are holding his left hand and her right hand, while Jiro's just reading a book, not even paying attention. Izuku just listening to music and all. We get into the school. They go to the office, get their schedules and all that stuff, and they go into their class. They sit down, and yeah. So I'm going to be adding a few people which are going to be in class 1A, which I'll add earlier here. Those two people will be Mina and Kirishima. Because we all know that Kirishima went to the same school as Mina. So yeah. So yeah. There we go. So they're sitting there doing all this stuff. And then Mina comes up to Jiro and starts talking, saying, "Hi, my name's Mina Ashido. What's yours?" She says, "Kyoka Jiro." And then Mina asks, "So, who's he?" She says, pointing to Zuko. Jiro say, "That's my boyfriend, Zuko." "Ah, boyfriend. She nudges her elbow into Jiro's arm. "Yeah, I'll cut it off." "Okay. Don't have to be so mean." Then they start to talk. They found out that they have similar things in common, like how they both dance, eh, how they both dance, and then then Mina came up with an idea of saying, how about if they dance together or something like that. They talk and talk, find out that they like the same music and all that. And then Mina finally asks and says, "So are you going to do anything about him? Looks like he's not paying attention at all." "No, just leave him alone. He likes to listen to his music." "Plus, it means no more problems for me." "What do you mean problems?" Jiro didn't notice that Izuku took off his headphones when he saw Jiro pointing at him and heard what she said. So then he put them down, he placed them around his neck, he got up, not trying nullifying the sound around him, since he can do that with his quirk sonic matter. Duh. And He snuck behind Jiro, and Jiro was sitting down. He he placed his hand around her neck and hugged her. His face was close right next to us and says, "She means this." As he kisses her on the cheek, and then he moves his hands, goes back to his seat, puts back his headphones, and starts listening while reading this time. Jiro just blushes at that, and yeah. Then Mina sees Kirishima come in. She says, "Oh, let me introduce you to a friend of mine, Kiri." Hmm? "Oh, Mina, how are you?" "I'm doing just fine. I want you to meet. I want you to meet a new friend of mine. This is Kyoka Jiro. Pleasure to meet. Pleasure to meet you," says says Kirishima. Then Jiro says likewise, and then he takes a seat next to Mina, and then she says, then he says, "You should have seen this fight on TV, Mina. It was so manly." He says, crying, "I wish I was there. It was the best thing I've ever seen. Such strong sportsmanship, such courage, bravery." Then Zuko takes off his headphones and looks at Mina and leans it forward, leans to her and says, "Is he always like this?" "Not always." So says, "Whatever." And then he says, "Don't bother me." And then Jiro says, "Ah, nah, 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 nah." And then he pulls him by his collar and says, "You're not going anywhere. Still have to pay you back for what you did back there." "And what do you mean by pay me back for what I did back there?" And then she kisses him on the cheek. He doesn't really react to anything. Then she kisses him on the lips. Yet again, he doesn't react and says, "You do know we do this all the time." "Yes, I know. Yes, I know that we do this all the time. So, so there's no point in doing it because I won't get ashamed. You are my girlfriend." He says that, then he places his hand under her chin, lifts her, lifts her head up to him, and says, and then he leans forward and whispers into her ears, "You are my beautiful songbird." She blushes, and then Izuku steps back, goes back to his seat, listens to music, and starts reading again as he has a smirk on his face as he looks at Jiro, and then goes back to his book. As Jiro is flustered by this, just sits down and says, "How does he win every single time?" And yeah, so over the 1 year, the first year of high school, the four get to know each other and they become a friend group. Bakugo doesn't really go to this high school, so Bakugo and Kirishima aren't friends here. They might become acquaintances, but I don't think they could be friends in UA. So yeah, the four become known as, what squad? What should the squad name be? Should they be the cool kid? Yeah, the cool kids. Everyone, Zuko being the top in grades and physicality, Joe being second in grades and physicality, Then comes then comes Kirishima, who is good in physicality, mediocre in academics. Then you got Mina, who's extremely good in in athletics, but below average in academics. So Izuku and Jiro do train both of them, teach both of them, started with them and doing that. Then in the second year, they all start training together again. Start training when they find out that Jiro and Izuku train. Jiro found out that she could produce sound waves from her earphone jacks as well as plug them into speakers to create big sonic booms. So then she's really happy that Izuku convinced her to start training her quirk, or she wouldn't have known she could do this. During this time too, don't forget that they do write songs, and then when Mina and Kirishima found out about this, they wanted to hear a song. They played them one. They both said that they wish they could play. Izuku and Kyoka said that they could teach them. And yeah, they learn. They play a few songs as a band. This they they played a few shows here and there. They became famous around the neighborhood. The band what should I say? Sonic, what should the band name be? I'll think of it later. So yeah, that's basically that happens in between from the second year of high school to the third year of high school. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it just before. So I'm not gonna go any more further. In the next part, I'll continue with the slash villain incident, the 10 months of training, and the UE entrance exam. So yeah, that's all from Downwings What Ifs here, and I'm flying off. Baby.